Uh, have you ever watched the movie Seven and thought to yourself, man, I really love this dark, gritty masterpiece, but I wish it completely sucked? Well, do I have the movie for you? Psycho Killer was written by Andrew Kevin Walker, the literal creative mastermind who gave us John Doe and the iconic What's in the Box line. So, how did he end up writing a studio horror film where a legendary actor like Malcolm McDowell drops acid and rants about cocks? I have absolutely no idea. This movie is a spectacular, beautifully shot disaster that plays out like a cheap made-for-TV slasher from 2004. Let's talk about why this might be one of the funniest, most baffling box office flops in horror history. To be totally fair, the movie tricks you early on. The opening credits are genuinely creative, using these intense, flashing red tones that made my TV backlights go absolutely metal. In the opening scene where a married pair of state troopers pull over a black Mustang on a snowy Kansas highway is shot beautifully. The camera work is tight, the POV shots from inside the car are tense, and then the movie just kind of shits its pants. The driver of the Mustang shoots the husband, the wife looks on in horror, and the killer speeds away. Now, this moment is supposed to be the deeply emotional, tragic catalyst for the entire plot, but it feels so completely soulless that I felt absolutely nothing. Wait, am I the psycho? And then we get our very first reveal of the satanic slasher. Instead of looking like a terrifying, calculated serial killer, this dude looks like a rejected Borderlands cosplayer or a backup member of Slipknot. He wears a gas mask for no logical reason and speaks through a deep voice filter like something you get at Party City. RIPPC. When he's not wearing the mask, he looks like Tommy Wiseau, and honestly, his line delivery isn't much better than his. And to prove to the audience how psychotic he is, the movie shows him casually sleeping on the floor of a closet and taking a shower by just leaning his forehead up against the wall. I wasn't unsettled, I actually laughed out loud during both of those scenes. Also, at one point, the killer listens to someone on the radio talk about erection medications, and the guy on the radio sounds a little bit like the landlord from Smiling Friends. If you know, you know. Like, is this movie serious? I don't see how it can be, but it takes itself so seriously. Eventually, the killer stalks a woman outside a pharmacy because he's always popping pills like he's Eminem in 2001. And how does he catch her? I'll let you guess. Is it A, he walks into the pharmacy in broad daylight? B, he waits outside the pharmacy doors all day until her shift ends? C, he hides in her back seat? Or D, he sneaks into the back of the pharmacy? Yep, it's C. He's hiding in her back seat. Groundbreaking stuff, right? But instead of an awesome tense kill sequence, the movie hits us with a lazy off-screen cut straight out of a censored PG-13 slasher from the early 2000s. We just see the body afterward with a standard uninspired 666 carved into her head, while the generic musical score blasts away, desperately begging the audience to find it creepy. And then, absolutely out of nowhere, the movie decides it wants to be a Michael Bay action film. The killer hits some random guy with a sledgehammer, which gives us a tiny splash of actual gore. But then the woman he's with panics and runs towards a massive semi-truck carrying fuel to beg for help. I don't know if that's the best thing to do, but the truck driver tries to stop, completely loses control. The entire semi flips onto its side and explodes into a massive theatrical fireball. It's so incredibly stupid, completely over the top, and makes the killer look even more ridiculous as he just stands there and watches. Somebody get this man some popcorn. Meanwhile, our main character Jane goes to an FBI office in Illinois for help, and they basically just tell her to fuck off. Oh, and out of nowhere, she's suddenly pregnant. I'm convinced the actress just found out she was pregnant during filming, so they shoved it into the script because it has absolutely zero relevance to anything else happening in the plot. The movie keeps trying to sound contemporary and edgy, but the dialogue is just painful. At one point, characters are discussing online conspiracy theories about the killer, and a woman literally says, I read on 8chan. Ah, yes, 8chan. Truly the pinnacle of modern creative cinematic screenwriting. Ah, somebody give this man an Oscar. But nothing compares to the absolute madness of the killer's actual behavior. In one scene, he goes into a church confession booth, but instead of confessing, he stabs the priest through the wall with a long, thin metal tube, and then he starts suckling the end of a tube like a newborn calf to drink the blood. I was losing my mind laughing. It is easily one of the most bizarre, unintentionally hilarious things I've ever seen in a movie. And shortly after, Jane tracks him to a motel, and he bursts out of a closet to attack her. First he sleeps in the closet, now he's jumping out of them. This guy genuinely might just be in the closet. He throws her through a first floor window, but instead of finishing the job, he just casually lets her get away so they can continue the lamest cat and mouse chase ever. I've seen Tom and Jerry episodes that are more intense than this movie. Jane then gets back to her car and decodes some random numbers and letters that literally just tell her the exact same information she already knew. Brilliant detective work, Jane. Eventually, the killer visits a house full of weird Satanists, which leads to a scene where Malcolm McDowell's character starts doing lines of cocaine and delivers a wildly explicit, unhinged monologue about a wizened, naked old man with an engorged cock fairly vibrating. What the fuck? What even is this movie? Who wrote this dialogue? Oh yeah, the same guy who wrote the script for one of the best psychological thrillers of all time. That checks out, right? The Satanists all randomly decide to drop acid and get fully naked, and the killer looks around and just casually leaves the room like, he's like, no, I'm not about to do that with you all. And honestly, same. I would have left too. But he comes back with an axe, leading to a slow-motion attack scene covered in some of the most incredibly fake, low-budget CGI blood I've seen in years. It all culminates in the killer turning into a full-blown terrorist, sneaking into a nuclear power plant, looking at the camera, and delivering a "Hail Satan" line with the enthusiasm of a bored retail worker. Yet it's somehow over the top and just completely ridiculous. That might have been possibly the hardest I laughed the entire movie. But seriously, this guy's delivery of damn near every single line of dialogue is terrible. I don't even know if it's his fault or just the bad script and the director wanting him to deliver the dialogue that way, but my God. By the time we get to the final twist, which makes absolutely zero narrative or logical sense, by the way, the killer gets sent to prison after somehow surviving a direct shot to the head. I'm giving Psycho Killer a 1.5 out of 5. Look, Psycho Killer is a bad movie, plain and simple. The acting is serviceable, but the entire cast is completely sabotaged by a bizarre script and baffling directorial choices. The kills are largely underwhelming, the characters are entirely flat, and the score doesn't match the vibe at all because you'll be laughing at things that are supposed to be scary. It's not quite iconic enough to earn a spot in the So Bad It's Good Hall of Fame, but if you want a mindless, goofy slasher to roast with your friends, ideally shit-faced, it's not the worst thing you could choose. But what do you guys think? If you've actually sat through this one, did you laugh as hard at the church scene as I did? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let me know what was the funniest part of this movie to you. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next nightmare.